Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Nikki. Today I really want to talk about expectations and specifically linked to homeschool. Now, as a new homeschool mom, I felt like I had a really heavy weight on my shoulders and I had a long list of expectations, and I want to get real with you today in this video on expectations. So if you are interested in hearing all about that, then keep on watching. Okay, expectations. Let's get real. When I first started 6 weeks ago, and as if you didn't know, I am a new homeschool mom, and I have one daughter in kindergarten who I homeschool. Now, I'm not going to get into why I chose to homeschool, but I am going to get into the expectations of it. If you're new to homeschooling, I'm going to set one rule for you. Let's take your expectations that endlessly grow and grow to be really high to bring them down here. Let's be real. I had expectations beyond up here, and I realized real fast on our first day, which was a fail, complete fail, that I had to lower my expectations. I went into this thinking, I don't even know what I had in my head, but I went into this with a mindset that things were just going to go as planned every day. I'm a planner. I'm sort of a perfectionist, and honestly, my daughter is too. So I kind of set us up for failure, right? Because if you don't plan for bad days to happen, and trust me, they will, then you're setting yourself up for failure as well. And then when those days do happen, you're going to have a freak out moment. You're going to get upset. You're going to get depressed. You're not going to be able to recognize it as a blessing in disguise, is the way I look at it. Now, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my daughter had a dentist appointment. So we decided to not do our schooling in the morning, and we were going to put it aside for when we got home from the appointment in the afternoon. She was aware of this. We did a little bit in our morning basket, which if you haven't seen that, I will link that somewhere up here. We did a little bit of our morning basket, and that was it. So we headed to the dentist. We had a great experience, cavity free. She did great. On the way home, fine. Got her some McDonald's to celebrate her no cavity free and that she was really good. Came home, ate, and I said, okay, let's do school. And the attitude came on. I immediately should have stopped, took a breather, put on our rain boots and walked outside in the rain, and just kind of let go of whatever that negative energy was that she was holding. But I didn't. This again goes back to expectations. I expected her to just snap out of it. That did not happen. We went to our schoolroom and we started digging in on our ocean unit, and the more we did, the more I tried to incorporate, the more she got frustrated, and she was just not feeling it. It wasn't that it was too hard or anything like that. She was just not feeling it yesterday. And that's when you need to recognize your child is having a bad day. You're a homeschooler now. You don't have to go by a schedule, a strict routine, anything like that. You can have the blessing to take that step back and reevaluate your day. We had a good morning. I should have stopped right then and there and had her do something fun, something to just get that negative energy out of her system. But I didn't, because again, expectations. So we continued forward. We pushed forward through this crazy, intense, I wouldn't call it anger, but it was a lot of frustration. And we pushed through it. And I almost forced her to push through it. And it ended badly. It ended in a really bad day overall for us because she just turned crabby and was crabby the rest of the day. So you need to learn when it's okay to just stop school and continue it the next day. There are no rules here. Yes, check your guidelines in your state. I'll link the website below where you can check your state's guidelines. But overall, there's a day you can make that up, like add in a couple hours on the weekend. Friday, if you don't school on Friday. We do Monday through Thursday and we don't school on Friday. Or we do like a fun activity on Friday that doesn't seem like school. So try to just relax. Relax, mama, relax. Like, I got so worked up in the very beginning weeks because my expectations were just so high. And with homeschool, people outside of homeschool don't understand homeschool, They think of it as, I don't even know what they think of it as. I know for me, personally, I didn't know enough about homeschool to make a judgment on it, really. I just knew it existed, but I really didn't know what that meant. So, like, my daughter's in kindergarten. So if you're homeschooling a kindergarten age child, you should be only doing school for, I think it's like 30 minutes as a minimum and like 60 minutes as a max. This is all about play, you guys. If you see she's having a bad day within 10 minutes, we are done. Have her do some shapes, or him. Have them color. They're always learning no matter what they're doing. So don't think you have to sit down for hours and hours and school them, because I guarantee you they're eventually gonna lose that attention span and they're gonna get frustrated and they're gonna get crabby, and then the learning stops. It completely takes a nosedive, and they may be doing it because they know mama says, but it doesn't mean that they're actually retaining the information. So again, expectations of what you think happens from a public school, which may be what you're used to lowering it down to where you're at in homeschool. Homeschool is not supposed to be like a public school. You don't have to set a routine, a schedule, anything like that unless you want to. Know what your state's guidelines are and go from there. I don't have a time. We don't create a timeline for our school. I go, okay, hey, it's school time. It could be 10:48 in the morning, 3:30 in the afternoon. You have the freedom to do what you want, Mom. You do. So don't think you have to do what other people are doing either, because if your child works better with that structure and guideline, then do what your child works best for, or children, or family. Do what works best for your family. That's all I'm saying. Don't think you got to do a 9 to 3. That ain't happening. And you don't need to. And the reason you don't need to is because you have one-on-one with your children. When they're in a school, they're taking potty breaks. They're taking lunch, recess. They're going to different classes, to do different things. They're catching up and waiting. If your child finishes in like 2 minutes something that you give them, you can move on right away. If they're in school and they finish in 2 minutes, that teacher allotted maybe 30 minutes for the whole class. Your kid is sitting there waiting to catch up. You don't have to worry about that in homeschool. If your kid's done in 2 minutes and they understand it and they're done, you can move on and say you only have one other thing and you're done for the day. It's one-on-one time. You're going to get through it faster. You're not going to have all these interruptions and things that you would in a normal school setting. So for us, we get our bellies full in the morning. I take out anything that's going to distract her. So we typically go to our schoolroom area, and that's where I find she'll have the least distractions. If I'm upstairs by the TV or something, you know, the dog's there, the cat's there, the windows are there, like anything can distract a kid at that point, and that may not be the case for you. So if you do best in your living room, on the floor, at the kitchen table, do it. And we do okay in those 8 places too, but I just find it best to have a separate room for our schooling. And don't think it has to be an exact replica of a public school room either, because it doesn't. Let's be realistic. You can work out of a basket, you can work out of a rolling cart, or nothing but just a plain and simple curriculum book on the desk that you leave in the same spot every day. It's simple. You're going to do it based on your budget. You're going to do it based on what works best for your family. Again, this all goes back to expectations. Set realistic expectations. For our goal this year, I had set our main goal for my child to be reading. Yesterday, she read an entire Bernstein Bears book by herself.
They see jellyfish.
Yeah.
Those strings. Those long strings can sting you. Says Papa. Not if we
sound it out.
Yeah. Stay.
Yeah, good.
Now, not if we stay out of the tank, says Mama.
She struggled with maybe a couple words, but read the whole book, majority of it by herself. Goal squashed. We've only been at this for 6 weeks. Now I have a new goal, or I'm going to have a new goal, because you always want to strive to achieve something. So you have to figure out what your expectations and goals are for your homeschool year, what you want your kids to learn in a year, what things that you want to teach them outside of a curriculum or unit study. You have to think on your head. You are their teacher now. You have to think, what don't you want them to learn about? Maybe you don't want them to learn science yet, so don't throw in science. For kindergarten, it's basically reading and math. And whatever you throw in extra is whatever you throw in extra. Again, this goes by state. So that's my real talk for you guys. I don't want you to set unrealistic expectations. I want you to get realistic with your expectations and bring those high markers down here until you get a rhythm and a flow and you know how your days are gonna go. Get out in nature, go to the park, go explore and learn outside of your school too. Like, don't just make it about bookwork, about worksheets. Your kids will learn no matter where they are. They're just adaptable like that. Think about when you were a kid. You were constantly learning too, and bake with them, cook with them, show them how to measure and, you know, create, or show them how to measure from a recipe and add in the ingredients, and, you know, like, that's learning in itself. Then you're going into life skills. Let them help you do laundry. Let them help you do chores. Let them help you do the dishes, or unload and load the dishwasher and put in the soap. Things like that are going to be beneficial for your children in the long run. They're not going to be teaching you that in school, in a regular school setting. Maybe not until high school, where you take like a home ec class, you know, but start now. Why not? You know, our kids need us to guide them for real life circumstances, as well as, you know, having the knowledge of the bookwork. They need real life examples. So that concludes today's video. I'm just going to wrap this up, as I can go on and on and on and on and on and on about talking about expectations and goals and what kids should learn and what they shouldn't, and what is, it's all hearsay, because it's really going to be what benefits your family. And that's what you really need to think about and focus on. Don't look at these other moms who are posting these immaculate days, because I'm guaranteeing you they have a bad day. And recognize that in your own child, to know if they're having a bad day. Skip it, get your wiggles out, come back, reassess the situation, and go from there. If it's an all-around bad, crappy day, take a break. It's not the end of the world. Trust me, it's not. And just breathe, and we'll get through it, and it'll be just fine. So if you enjoyed today's video, I hope you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as that does help me out. And hit that notification bell as well, and you'll get alerted for any future videos of mine. I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So yeah, I hope you guys have a really great rest of your weekend. This will probably be going up on Friday before Labor Day, so I hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend. Yeah, bye guys.